Further ado, let's just start with, let me see here. There we go. 5 ways to mitigate risk for grow to order. First of all, I came from a speculation business. So the grow to order was very foreign to me. I'm used to looking at 3-4 years of history, figuring out, try to get with our customers, figure out what they're thinking they're going to order, but still it's really all a gamble, right? I'm going to grow, look at my sales history, grow, a lot of product and really hope, the same people buy it, or, that I sell the same as last year, or hopefully more. Maybe you want to have an increase. Maybe it's hard to get insight into that. Look at what just happened with this, whatever this is called, the pandemic, right? Everybody thought 2020 was going to be this big banging year, me included, and everybody had already started growing their product, and look what happened, right? So lots of risk, whether you really grow to order or a speculation, So dealing with a live product, of course, there's risk. But first of all, one of the things about grow to order is there's a lot less risk, because obviously you're getting an order for what you're actually going to grow. So it's always thrilling for me to walk through our grow to order customers and see full greenhouses and know that they're all ordered, that all those are sold, which, like I said, was foreign to me. I'd look at miles of petunias and hope we sold them, hope we didn't get any sort of viruses or anything, or hope the weather, all these things that we have to worry about as growers. So right away, doing grow to order is less risky, right? But there is some things to help mitigate the risk of that. One of the things is space utilization. So if you've seen any of my demos before, seen our system, there is a really robust space planning piece. And I'll show you a little bit of that, but it really comes into play for grow to order a lot. We have some vegetable propagators that, right at the time of order entry, they have to know, will we have space for that? And for the customers that we have now that come from trying to do that in Excel and without any kind of system, and if you're in that game, you know how hard that is. So you want to be able to talk to your customer. They say when they want to receive the product, and you want to be able to tell them, even on the phone, yes, we'll have space for that. In our experience, some of our customers that used Excel for that, honestly, sometimes it took a few hours, if not more, for them to get back to the customer to really figure out, on this date, 2 months from now, 3 months from now, are we going to have space? Also, human resource planning. It optimizes permanent staff and temporary workers based on project demand, or projected demand, excuse me. This is really for spec and for grow to order, but you are able to, in the system, to see what your labor demands are going to be. There is most importantly, I think there's a direct link between sales order and the production job. What that means is, think about this. A lot of grow to order companies look at the orders that they have, and then they're going to do a separate master crop plan to grow for all the orders that they've gotten. And so the way our system works is you actually do it from the sales order, and the production job gets created from the sales order. So there is a direct link between the sales order and the actual production job, which there's a wide variety of advantages to that. One, customer service, they're not growers, right? Maybe they are. In most cases, they're not, but they have access to all the job information, any treatments, work orders, time changes, any of those things. They can view that production job from the sales order, right? So when a customer calls, all they need is the order number. They don't need to know the order number and try to figure out what lot or what production job this customer's plants are part of, right? Also, another big deal in grow to order is prepayments. Very common to get prepayments. Obviously, they want you to grow this job for them. You don't want to get to the end of the job and they don't pay you. So usually it's 30 to 50% or more prepayment. So I'll show you from a sales order how you can quickly add the prepayment percentage if you don't have it defaulted. But the thing is that all of these jobs that we're going to create from sales order all are in planned status. So really they're not going to be started unless that prepayment is posted. So there's a status that will show that says prepayment pending. We have heard a lot of customers struggling with that. Again, you got all these orders, they got this huge production plan for all those orders, and you have to figure out who's paid, right? And a lot of times I think the big production job gets started, even though there has been no prepayment. So I think it's another advantage to have it done from the sales order, so the prepayment and everything is part of the picture. And also you can see what your cost calculations are. Any production job that you make in our system, if you've seen some of my webinars before, you can look at the statistics and really see what the cost prediction is. So how do you figure out what your cost is going to be for a grow to order group of plants that are part of a huge production job? It's harder to figure that out. So this way really keeps it all separate. Even the name of the job is the customer name. So with that, let's go ahead and jump into the system here. Okay. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to go ahead and just go to a new sales order here. Get a number. Mile High Growers in Colorado. Ooh, look, right away, this customer has an overdue balance. I'm going to go ahead and click on that and see. Ooh, they owe me a balance of $3,491.25. If I click on that, we can actually see that it's one invoice. Good visibility there. Go ahead and disregard that for right now. Now, this is just a normal sales order, right? I'm going to go ahead and say this is a different location. Okay, the only difference that from a regular sales order that you're buying off of a inventory or availability is this checkbox right here that I'm going to check and say that this is a production order. So now the system knows that I'm actually going to create the production jobs from this sales order, okay? Now that can be defaulted. Let's say, obviously if you're going to order customer, you want that to be defaulted where every order has that box checked, which you do in the settings. But for right now, I did it manually. And right here, you can see that status is open. Okay, I'm going to do two different things. I'm going to do a petunia, pretty simple, but there's a lot of propagators out there that really their availability is the amount of cuttings they can get from their supplier. And just like the vegetable propagators, they're not growing anything that is not ordered. So let's go ahead and just put in PET for petunia, and I'm going to do this easy wave. Now look at this little message that came up right away. It says starting date job 2/19 is before the work date. What the heck does that mean? What that means is right here, already the system. So it's telling me, because of the fact that behind the scenes here, it knows that this petunia easy wave blue 6-inch, it's looking at really the quote unquote recipe for this product. And I am backward planning. So the system, what it's doing is saying, if I want this delivery date, 4/29, which defaulted just because I opened the sales order to today, you would have to start the production job on 2/19. So obviously that's not going to work. Okay. So just think, if you're trying to do this in Excel and that taking an order, what you have to go look through to figure out, when am I going to have to start this, right? Where the system, this is just already telling you right away. So I'm going to go up here to my proposed date and change it to, let's just go to July 1st. Make sure we have enough time here. So I'm going to update the lines. And now you can see it says to plan at 4/22, which is, we'll go with it. It's before today's date, but we'll just go ahead and leave that. Okay, now I just need to say how many I want. Let's say we want 1,000 of these. Okay, and they're $1.25. Okay, $1,250. Okay, here's our prepayment. Now I could have defaulted this. This can be defaulted by item or customer, things like that, or both. And so I'm gonna, this can, like I said, by default, you can have it to where, let's say every plant gets a 50% discount. You can default that, but in this example, I'm just adding the percentage myself. So it's telling the prepayment is $625, okay? Now I'm going to get a little bit more complicated here, and let's do a grafted tomato. Fonzie, this is our Happy Days line. And so we are going to do a Fonzie's pink. And I'm going to use a variant code here. A variant code really is like, think of it like a variation, right? It could be a size, it could be a different category. So what I do is I have variations of this Fonzie's pink, and it's either grafted, I have grafted and pinched, or just a standard tomato. Let's get complicated and say grafted and pinched. And now again, we see our starting job here is we need to start this on 5/15 in order for it to finish for this 7/1 ship date, okay? Let's get 1,000 of these too. Look at this, very nice, right from the sales order. It's already telling me that there's parts of this grafted tomato that I'm out of, right? Let's see what they are. Ooh, we have a clip. So it's saying I don't have an inventory of the clip. So it's even looking at the production job, seeing what the inputs are, and already telling me from the sales order to, again, somebody who's not a grower or anything, they're already going to be prompted of things that production actually is responsible for keeping the inventory and ordering, but you're going to know already from the sales order what inventory issues you have. Obviously, for this example, I don't really care about that. We're just kind of showing you the workings here. Let's go ahead and say it's $4.25 for these, and we'll also do a 50% prepayment amount, okay? So one of the things when it comes down to this tomato is I have different production details. A lot of different information here, but it's really just showing me my quantity in that. Look at it saying yes, that I am grafting. Look at, there's actually different pinching codes that you can choose. So really this is the order entry person's able to specify the, oh, there's an email from my broker. Oh, nice. So you're able to specify different configurations or different specifications that the customer wants. Maybe they want a certain pinch. Maybe they want it treated with something. So I'm going to go ahead and say we're going to pinch at the third leaf. Definitely saying how many quantity per pot. There's only one, right? And this is key here is that I have to choose a rootstock item. You know, when it's grafted, we're gonna start two jobs actually. One for the actual rootstock. We'll start the tomato too, and then at the grafting phase, we're gonna actually bring them together. But for this grafted tomato, it's actually two separate production jobs. One for the rootstock, excuse me, and one for the tomato item. So I'm going to just choose a. Let's see here. Let's just do it this way then. Let's have rootstock. Let's try that. Let's do maxi fort. Okay. Also, you can see down here, I can choose different, like for the grafting phase, we do need this clip. You know, for this example, there's only one, but this could be a tag. It could be a pot type or something that's order specific. So then you can choose from this at order entry or choose which tomato block you want to use. So, you know, there's no limit to what you can do here as far as different details of the job. So I'm done in here with these production details. I'm going to go, okay. So now we're still just a regular sales order. But what I'm going to do is go right down here to produce to order, and I'm going to say create job. I didn't select both lines, so it really only created it for that one. Let's go ahead and do it same here. Okay, so look at right here, these job numbers. So it created a job, a production job for that Petunia Easy Wave to start on 4/22. And then on our second line here, we can see that two jobs were created. I have a job for the tomato and also here's our rootstock job number. Okay, let's go ahead and take a look at one of them. Just going to click here on that and go. So here's our production job. You know, usually it says internal vendor here, but now this is for Mile High Gardens. Okay, let me go ahead and close the general information. We got our germination stage, plug stage. You know, if you've seen my demos or webinars before, you know, I've gone into these jobs, but just keep in mind that now that this is for this customer, our fact boxes to the right look at any comments, any work orders, crop treatments, inspections, observations, pictures, tasks, all of the different things that are going on with this job are all tracked in this one job for Mile High Gardens. So you're easily able to, even as an order entry person, see all of these different things as pertaining to this job. Even the start date, you can see that this first line here of germinations planned for 4/22. Well, when we start that job, you're going to be able to see the actual date. So what if your customer calls and wants a status, and then you go look at the job and you can see they started it a week late? Well, obviously you have an issue there. But the salesperson does not have to really contact production and wait for an answer of the status of this production job because they have access to it right from the order. Let's go back to the order and look at what we got here. Even though I just browsed to that job number, if I scroll down here on the right, those same fact boxes for the job are right inside the sales order. So that move that I took to go look at the actual job number, I didn't even really have to do. I can get to most of that information from the fact box, right from the sales order. And then there's another one for the rootstock job, same thing. Okay, what else would we need to know about this? Well, first of all, we need to look at our space. So what I'm gonna do is just jump out here and I'd be able to look here and say, okay, I'm gonna be starting this on 4/22, well, that's past. Let's go to the, say, 5/1. Look, I'm just gonna say 5/1, it's gonna default to this year, but it's actually gonna go to what my greenhouse looks like on 5/1. Depending where we're gonna grow it, you look at, I'm already location 3. These are actual 3 physical addresses, location. You can already see I'm full here at this location 3, but I can go in there and see what the bays look like. Looks like some of these bays obviously are very, very full, but I do have space to grow this, right? So this is that example I talked about earlier that, you know, one of our customers used to take hours to figure this out, where right from the sales order, even if you're online with the customer, you can get to this very quickly and see what your space is going to look like. Because like even when I click here next week, you can watch the different product move in and out of here and see what's going to happen, because it really is all live. It's looking at all the different production jobs that, you know, at any phase, whether or not they're in the process of growing or they're in inventory, but you can come in here and quickly figure out your space. Okay. A lot of times we put the button for that space management right in here, which is very easy to do. So even from the sales order, they'd be able to click on the greenhouse overview space management piece. Okay, now we got our jobs. One of the things that we want to do too is I'm going to go ahead and go here for my prepayment. And I'm going to post this prepayment invoice. So do I want to post it? Yep, I do. Okay, so now look at my status as pending prepayment. That's a big deal because now you can easily look throughout the system at the status of these sales orders. You know, whether you're in the sales order lines or the production jobs, you can see what sales order the production job is linked to and see that status. So that tells production they're going to easily know what jobs they should start. Any job that is not pending prepayment. Also helps customer service because they can see all the different calls they got to make or what to really get the prepayment paid and posted so they can start the job. Okay. Also, let's go back to the job real quick and let's go look at this tomato one. Now, I'm going to click statistics on this, and so we can see really there's not a lot of costs in here on this example. But so it's really only $142 to grow this. It's pretty cheap for 1,000 tomatoes. I doubt that's right. Look, we don't have material costs or anything, but once you have your costs in there, and if they are current, for your different inputs and everything, you should be able to look. This 6.97 hours is a prediction from our labor norms in the system of how long these different activities take. You can have your machinery costs, all of that in there. But so if your, pardon me, your standard costs are, like I said, current and up to date, you should get a pretty darn close prediction of what this is going to cost you. And then obviously, as you post your work orders and that, you can see the actuals. But this enables you to really see per grow to order job what that's going to cost you. And again, remember, if we were doing this massive production of every order for grafted tomatoes we had where the production job was 50,000 or something rather than just for that customer, it's a lot more difficult to figure those things out, especially if there's other things by extra pinches, clips, all these other cost adding events. Okay, give me just 1 second here. Okay. Just looking at my agenda there, making sure I hit all 5 points. Looks like I have. Looks like we're done about 4 minutes early, so I can give you 4 minutes back to your time. And hopefully you learned a little bit about and seeing how powerful the grow to order piece can be in here and how manageable it can be. And I'm going to go ahead and turn it back over to Dale and see if there's any questions.
Thanks, Todd. And that was very good walkthrough of how the system, helps you really automate. I was looking at the, the floor planning, and that's a nice visual of, where you have space and at what time period, how the inventory moves in and out. I want to open it up again to questions. If you have any questions, please use our question box. While you're preparing your questions, I have one that came in, and I wanted to ask you towards the end there, Todd. You were showing okay, how to enter the prepayment amount and enter the invoice, and then you mentioned that production would know that that it's a prepayment job. Is there automatic alerts that production could have that, okay, payment arrived, we can move forward on this? Is the system?
It's a really good question, Dale. I could have fed you that one. That you're setting me up perfectly. Thank you. Honestly, that's a really good question. The answer is yes, because this is a Microsoft product. And because of the Power Platform, as they call it, Power Platform is 3 products: Power BI, Power Apps, and Power Automate, all part of my Microsoft Office. So in Power Automate, you would be able to create your custom workflows. So honestly, we have a whole practice devoted to that. They can get extremely robust and complicated. They can be very simple, meaning that email me, every time that the job, I gotta think of a good one here, maybe 2 days before a job is supposed to start, if the prepayment hasn't been made, you would put that criteria in there and specify if you want to email or how you want to be alerted. And so
Right.
that I'm really glad you asked that, because that is a really powerful part of the system. That's not even really part of it. It's part of Microsoft Office, which is completely integrated with this. So all of those tools play so nicely together. Like I have one alert that anytime a job is started, a week late or more, I get an email, gives me the job number. I can click on the job number in the email. It browses right to the job in the system. It's fantastic. But so the short answer is yes.